Talofa and Afiamai. It is July 8th, 2020. Welcome to the first talanoaga on KokoBytes, where we keep your cup of Koko Samoa full with innovations and creativity in American Samoa's tech community. I am Gingerlei Porter, your host, together with my co-host, Michael Mcdonald from the American Samoa Department of Commerce. Good morning, Michael.
Aloha, Ginger. Good morning. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing great. It's a beautiful day here in American Samoa. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be alive.
Yes, and I must say that's a fantastic background there. So
yeah, you like that.
I
right?
do. I do.
It's iconic. When you see it, you know, not only do you know American Samoa, but you know Utule, which is where I'm from. So
yeah, I'm gonna do that for my village next show.
There you go.
Well, this idea, right? This idea of KokoBytes, a platform to talanoa and share ideas, matured from several conversations on ways to demonstrate potential development opportunities. Now that American Samoa has access, right, to tremendous bandwidth through Hawaii. And so I know you and I have had this conversation back and forth, but what is the best way for us? Well, what is one way for us to raise awareness, right, of broadband economy in American Samoa? So addressing the question, how can broadband better our lives, right?
Right. Well, it's a good question. I think that's the $1 million question right now, considering the investment we've made as a territory into our modern infrastructure, right? And so that's something we're going to be tackling over the next several months. I think the obvious stuff is pretty obvious. You know, the video calls, the Zoom conferences. Now these things are becoming more and more commonplace. But beyond that, what else can we do? Where's the innovation that we need to tap into to really drive development in and across several industries, and to do it ASAP, not over 5 years, not over 10 years. We want to see change today. And so hopefully this territorial broadband strategy will lead us down that path of innovation, of ASAP innovation, right away, right now. Yep. If we have communications that are moving at light speed, hey, let's see some progress moving, if not light speed, fast.
Absolutely. So today's guest, we are joined by the Chief Technology Officer of Astaka, Mr. Sal. And shall we bring him in?
Yeah, bring Sal in. Sal's a great guy. I'm glad to have him on.
All right. So while Sal is joining and connecting, Sal, welcome to the very first talanoaga on KokoBytes. And Sal Faasala Augafa is the Chief Technology Officer of Astaka. And he's had many years and many different experiences in the field of IT and telecommunications, not only in American Samoa, but in the US mainland. So hi, Sal, welcome to the program. Oh, we're on mute.
Morning, Sal. There we go.
Ginger and talofa to everybody.
Good morning. Talofa lava. So Sal, where are you coming in today from?
I am actually logging on from the office at the Astaka headquarters.
So you're in Tafuna, Michael's in Utule. So we are covering, west end and middle of the island, right? That's really great.
Yeah.
So Sal, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to being CTO of Astica today. What has motivated you to be in the field of IT and telecom?
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by computer technology. Going back to 87, actually, the very first computer class in high school, at Leone High School. I saw what it can do to better everyone's lives. Technology's come a long way in such a short period of time. And I wanted to be part of the technological evolution of Astica and see what is done so far. As far as I can see, it's impacted positively our people, the businesses, government, and schools. Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And just knowing the connection that you have on island right now, how we're even able to have something like this and the stability of it, right, speaks to the amount of investment that Astaka has done to improve telecommunications in American Samoa, over time. And so Astaka has been doing some pretty exciting stuff, right? We obviously have the bandwidth, and
Yep.
we see your LTE rollout. So, and we also hear that IPTV is coming soon. So, what is it like being in Astica now with all the great developments underway?
Oh man, it's absolutely exciting. Having spent the last 3 years helping to develop and execute our strategic plans, it's very rewarding to see the new and old Astaka teams members coming together to achieve what we have in such a short period. We have a great team.
Hey, Sal, quick question. Speaking of team and teamwork, and of course the new and old Astica teams, it's great to see all of that gel, especially considering the timing of everything. As you know, there have been a few leaders over there at Astica over the past 2 or 3 years, and I understand that Astica is in the process of identifying a new person to take over as a CEO. What message would you like to send your customers with regards to whomever it is that might be the next leader at CEO?
Yeah, it's not my place to comment on the CEO, but what I can say is we have had and we continue to have a great leadership and management team at Astica, including all staff. The management team and the board of directors. It's a team effort thing.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. If I understand it correctly, we should probably hear something over the next 2 weeks or so. But that's just what I hear, from listening to, the chatter. But we're looking forward to whomever it is and what Astica has in store.
Yeah, as we are.
Yeah, so that speaks to the vision of where we want to take not just Astica, right, but American Samoa in general, with broadband and all the developments and potentials for development. So, what's in your future, and what would you like to see happen here in American Samoa, where Astica can really play a big part as far as telecom or broadband?
We obviously want to continue being at the forefront of applying technology to better the lives of our people. We plan to evolve, but I can't really say what the plans are for obvious reasons. But I do know that the feeling and in the environment, the Astaka environment, is that we need to be at the forefront, and we need to apply all the technology to better the lives of our people in American Samoa.
Right, great. Sal, on that same train of thought, being at the forefront, there's a lot of discussion about 5G and where we're going with 5G. Can you comment, just in general, what are your thoughts about 5G and the possibility of us heading down that path?
Yeah. So the plan is to, we continue to plan to evolve the network, the Astica network, while we deploy the services, which is our focus today, to deploy services on our existing technology. We just evolved to 4G and voice over LTE, and we want to take advantage of those services today. and continue to plan on evolving the network. As far as the 5G, we have had our eyes on it. We're doing our researches and so forth. Hopefully, something will come out of it.
Right. It's a hot topic, obviously, in the telecommunications industry.
Okay.
And I know communities in the U.S. Are already pushing down that path. I know this current administration, the president and his administration, are insisting that America lead the way on 5G. And so it's exciting stuff again, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are staying on top of those developments. You never know, things are changing so fast. Before you know it, we're moving down in that direction as well.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on your current network, right? Your LTE rollout that you've had and the services that are there. And it's been, a lot of positive things coming out of the stability and the quality of that network. So, with that, there are immediate needs, obviously, right? With COVID-19 and the need to access things, the need for education to access quality and stable internet for distance learning, and the hospital and telehealth and Department of Health for their purposes for telehealth. Is Astica going to continue, or how does Astica plan to continue to service these populations? I think I was heading with this question mostly for those who have lost their jobs, right? So who don't have the funds to get those services. So to pay for the internet services at their homes to support their families, or the students that need access to educational materials. So does Astaka have any programs for that type of service?
Yeah, so all of our services are geared to provide high speed and high quality broadband services to every home and business on the islands of American Samoa. And thanks to the efforts of many, including the USDA broadband programs, today Astica is well positioned to support remote workers, and distance learning, virtual care, and high quality. With the high quality fiber that we have today, to almost every home, we're in that position to be able to provide all those services. The high quality fiber to the home is unparalleled in speeds and the quality. And of course, the very affordable pricing that our commercial team has kindly offered.
Hey, Sal, I just wanted to comment quickly on that. One of the goals of any community, really, and one of our goals as we've developed this broadband strategy, is to service the population, right? To make sure that they do, in fact, have affordable and high quality internet, which I agree with Ginger. The improvements on cost and quality have been phenomenal. It's like night and day. But one of the things that we hope to accomplish, and I know Astica is thinking about it as well, is still being able to bridge the gap between those who have access and those who don't. Low-income communities, perhaps our aging communities. There are several folks still out in the community who either are not connected, or if they are connected, they have a simple device, and so there are challenges there. But being able to see down the road and do what is required to make sure everybody has, I guess, equal access to what you can accomplish or pursue by way of this new resource is very important. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. Our commercial teams are working on plans that I obviously can't talk about. In targeting those homes that cannot afford regular broadband as everybody. But looking at the pricing Astica offered today compared to many in the South Pacific region, I think that the amount of bandwidth capacity that we provide to the homes over the fiber optics network is very affordable what Astaka offers today compared to many places in the South Pacific region, and probably in most some places in the U.S. I think we're getting there. We're making our way there.
Right.
There's plans to get to a more affordable internet, but I'm going to leave that to our commercial team to talk about.
Right. Hey, well, you know what? I'm as you're speaking, you know, I pulled up my web browser and I navigated over to Astica.net, and it looks like you guys are offering a basic residential service for $55 a month, and that's
Yeah.
up to 25 down and 3 up. That's 25 megs down and 3 up. Incredible. You know, I think there are rural communities throughout the U.S. who don't have access to that sort of pricing and, of course, speed. And then, of course, you guys have a couple other options going all the way up to 100 megs down and 10 megs up. Very, very affordable. And so I think that's critical, considering, you know, one of our goals of helping everybody to connect. And I commend you guys for also making a big effort to have a wide selection of devices to connect to the internet too. You know, I was at the Nauli location a couple of weeks ago, and I think the device that I saw that was most affordable was under $50, and so that's great. I applaud you guys. Keep that up. It's a lot more important than I think we realize, especially when we're trying to reach that population that has a hard time overcoming some of these challenges.
Yeah, and we will continue to focus on getting more brands, devices to our subscribers. Astaka network is a voice over LTE network, and there weren't a whole lot of brands out there that were voice over LTE capable until we started to work with a lot of these vendors, and there's more coming. We're happy that we are Apple certified carrier, and as well as Samsung and those big guys. But we continue to look for the affordable devices for the American Samoa users.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So talk about that global connectivity, right? So we are in one of those regions that are prone to disasters, right? So what are some services that are available through Astica for disaster communications? Do you have plans for cell broadcasting, or, you know, your participation in the FirstNet? So can you comment a little bit on those activities?
Yeah, certainly. So I'm sure you were aware, Governor Lolo back in January 2018 had approved for American Samoa up into FirstNet. And soon after that, we started discussion with our partner AT&T, and, you know, going through a series of interviews and taking them around to show them the Astica network and its capabilities. And AT&T soon decided that Astaka would be the local carrier for FirstNet. And we started to develop and install and deploy the FirstNet network using AT&T's spectrum. And we were able to meet the AT&T's deadline, which was just March of 2020, and became a certified FirstNet carrier. So we are providing that service to our first responders in American Samoa. We are happy to say, I'm happy to say that we have signed up a couple of agencies, local agencies for the FirstNet services. And we, together with AT&T, will get more of our first responder agencies signed on and offered that services. So in the start of the year, we started what I call I'm calling the network hardening project. We're going around to all our sites and strengthen everything, starting from power backup, fiber optics backup, everything pretty much to optimize, and the optimization of the network will continue on for as long as we're around. But we continue to harden the network, and our aim is to have an uptime of 99.9% of the time. I think we're getting there. We're almost there, but it's a work in progress.
That's really great to hear about all the progress.
That's great to hear. Yeah, no, Ginger, I just was going to comment on the resilience of the network that we now have. It will play a very key part. You know, how many times, you know, over the course of, you know, the last couple of years have we had a tropical storm blow through, and you know, it's critical for when it comes to responding to these sort of events, that communications is back online ASAP. And so hardening, you know, the infrastructure over at Astaka is critical. You know, moving aerial lines into trenches, you know, that's all going to help us build a resilient you know, telecommunications infrastructure. And you know, moving ahead, Sal, one more comment about the infrastructure. Part of our discussion with this broadband strategy is how do we prepare for upgrades and maintenance and that sort of thing. Financing is always the tricky part of that equation. So any comments on that?
Yeah, you know, the last 3 years was all about you know, evolving the network, and that included you know, upgrading of our fiber optics network, you know, delivery to the optics to the residentials and businesses, and fortunately we've gone through most of that already. So we only have a few more things to take care of from a network perspective, and we've now handed it off to our commercial team to start offering the services out to the subscribers. So I think moving forward, you know, we continue to try to harden everything, and part of hardening of the network is hardening of the staff, which is to improve their skills, their knowledge of their technology skills, and learning everything there is about what they're looking after, the systems, the network nodes, and of course our cable off island, and getting backups of, you know, in case of a fiber break and so forth. And we learned that the hard way, as you know, with the awful fiber break. You know, we're trying to avoid that from reoccurring.
And you know, there are a lot of bright kids coming up through high school and at our college, and you know, as you guys start to build capacity and this discussion continues, workforce development is going to be a big part of this as well. We have to have a well-trained labor pool to respond not only to your needs, but as businesses and government agencies start to really digitize, you know, they're going to need support. And I know Astaka has always been a great partner with the public schools, and so perhaps there are some future partnerships for internships and that sort of thing that can come about as we head down this broadband strategy initiative. And Ginger, I just want to put one plug in while we're talking about partnerships here. Just thanks to the Astaka team for being a great commerce. We have a BPO project now that's been up and running since February, and we could not have done it with Astaka support. We've had challenges, of course. You know, everybody's had challenges dealing with the COVID-19 situation, but the potential that we've seen with the incubator, the BPO incubator, is tremendous, and we can already see several other opportunities starting to become a reality or starting to materialize. So again, thanks for the partnership there, Sal. It's been great. I look forward to several more years ahead to get that thing really humming.
Yeah. And it's just a quick comment on your comment earlier about positive feedback from the community on the Astaka service. It is very wonderful for myself and the team here at Astaka to hear that there's a huge there's a great positive feedback from the community, and that's what we're here for, to support the community, the American Samoa and its people, and make sure that they their lives are improved by what the services that we provide.
Yeah, so thank you for the discussion and the response to the questions so far. So with that, as we are developing the territorial broadband strategy, right, it's really to define and identify some of the how, now that we have the massive access to bandwidth, right? So you also get do I really need a strategy to use the internet? You also have those types of comments and discussions, but in reality, the partnerships that you've described and some of the projects that you've been working on, that's the collective approach that we need in order to develop these strategies and to gather all these examples of the successes and the challenges, right, that we've all shared. And most importantly, having these strategies, they drive our decisions. That's really, really key, right? So we want to reach that last house in Onenoa and Malota and, other parts of the island, and Ofu, and, those key strategies, like what you said about hardening the workforce, right? So those are always there, right? So we need a different approach to it. So maybe capturing them when they are in early childhood education, start from there before they even get to high school or something, so all those different things that are, come together to make this strategy. So I'm gonna, so I'd like to invite any last comments from Sal on, from advice. So a whole spectrum, it's yours to share and to use of what you want to share with our audience.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, we have the services today in American Samoa through Astica. Broadband. We're providing that high speed internet, broadband, and quality services. So we don't have to look far to get the strategic broadband plan going. We're here. We're already here, and we're trying to bring the internet to American Samoa. Versus our customers having to click on that URL and go off island to get it. But we're one of our plans is to bring all those guys here and service the customers locally, and hopefully we will get to that point.
That's great. Thank you. Any last comments from Michael?
Well, I think Sal hit it right on the head, right? All the heavy lifting is done. The infrastructure, the investment, it's all done. So now it's up to us to look at, how we can leverage the resource, whether you're in healthcare, education, whether you're a private sector, a business owner, an entrepreneur. It's up to us to start to think about how we can best leverage this so that we create jobs. We keep our best and our brightest here at home. We improve the quality of healthcare so that families can stay here and know that their parents, themselves, and their kids have quality healthcare, education. So broadband touches all these areas, and so it's vital that we continue to get the word out, right? Continue to encourage people to think, what's next, right? So again, thanks, Sal, for being here today, and thanks for your contribution. I know we're going to talk to you again down the road as things roll out, so we'll stay in touch.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ginger, and thanks for having me today.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Michael, what do you think about that first interview for KokoBytes?
Well, it was our first. No, we're doing this by a trial by fire, right? But hey, I thought it went well. Obviously, having Sal on and speaking to Sal, especially on issues related to telecommunications here in American Samoa, is always interesting. They're now at the forefront of innovation in telecom here, and so if you're following the movement of and the evolution, if you will, of ICT, telecom, call it what you will, then you have to talk to the people who are in the industry, and so it's always good to catch up with Sal. Very, very happy to have him as our first guest.
I agree, and a lot of things to share, right, about some of the what he sees could be improved in their own network. Just even the little bits that he was able to share with us, that speaks a lot about his ideas of where he wants to take this network and the people, not just the infrastructure itself, but the workforce, right? Mm-hmm. So giving his guys who are supporting this infrastructure the appropriate training so that they can do this in the long term. So those things, speaks volume for me, as you're talking to some of our, the tech community. Creating that vision of where American Samoa will go with this capacity.
Right. And going back to the developing of our local workforce and our young people, that is, I know we're going to have more opportunities to speak to that and talk to some other folks about how best to do that. But that's obviously very, very important. So I'm glad that they have that in mind as they implement their own strategies at Astaka. Mm-hmm. We gotta help our young people, give them opportunities to help us do what we need to do, right? We need their enthusiasm and their ingenuity.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I would like to see more as we are developing and talking to people and having them come be part of our KokoByte team is to share those ideas and best practices, right? So have each department know what each department's doing, right? So you don't have that duplication of efforts, or one thing that might work there might also work somewhere else. So that sharing of protocols and processes. So I'd like to really see a lot more than that, a lot of that. More in our group as we grow in our discussions. So
and I think I think that's going to happen. We can already see it happening, where silos are starting to be broken down. We hear that a lot. Everybody's working with blinders on, but being able to gather 30, 40, 50 people on a Zoom conversation, we're connecting like never before. And when you see somebody at DOE doing something and you're like, we could use that here at DOC, I mean, you can see how this can impact our partnerships, tremendously. So I agree with you 100%. We need to see more of that, and I hope we do continue to see more of that as we move down the road.
Yep. So, I absolutely look forward to our next talanoa session on KokoBytes, where we keep your cup of Koko Samoa full with innovations and creativity in American Samoa's tech community. Thank you, and Tofasoi for.